Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Jenny Nelson, and I'll be moderating today's webinar. Before we get started, I just wanted to address a few housekeeping issues. This is set up as a webinar, so as a participant, you have all been muted. We do want this to be interactive, so if you have any questions throughout today's webinar, please feel free to either use the question box or the chat box. We'll have some time for Q&A at the end of today's call, and we'll do our best to answer as many questions as we can, either in real time or at the end of this call. Also, if you have any technical difficulties, please feel free to put them in the chat box, and we'll do our best to address them. I'm joined today by Veronica Cavazos, the Program Director for Austin Partners in Education. Veronica has been with APIE for 4 years. Prior to that, she was a 4th grade teacher and community college administrator. On today's webinar, Veronica is going to spend about 20 minutes talking to us about the various ways that Austin Partners in Education serves the Austin Independent School District and how community members like you can help support local students by volunteering in our classroom coaching program. So with that, Veronica, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Jenny. I want to start by thanking everyone for taking the time to take part in our webinar. I have some great information to share with you about APIE, and it should only take between 15 to 20 minutes with some time for questions. So let's go ahead and get started. Our mission here at Austin Partners in Education is to create community and school partnerships that provide Austin ISD students preparation for educational advancement. We do this by giving members of our community an array of opportunities to become involved with the district, whether it's through our academic support programs like classroom coaching or our mentoring program. Our goal is to funnel community resources to AISD students. So just a little bit about our history. Back in June of 1983, the Austin Independent School District and the Greater Austin Chamber of Commerce, known as Adopt a School. 21 years later, in June of 2004, the program became an independent nonprofit organization known as Austin Partners in Education, or as most people know as APIE. We would not exist today without AISD and the Greater Austin Chamber. They remain our founding partners to this day. And as a matter of fact, the AISD superintendent is our board's vice chair, and several Austin Chamber members also serve on our board. One thing that we're really proud of here at APIE is that we've been able to succeed in a highly saturated nonprofit environment. Austin alone has over 7,000 nonprofits. So the fact that APIE is thriving and planning to expand programs, we think says a great deal about the strength and the viability of the programs we provide. In June of 2014, APIE celebrated its 10-year anniversary. We are proud of these past 10 years, and we're really excited about our future. My hope is that after you hear about the great programs APIE has to offer, that you'll choose to join us in our efforts. So, why Austin ISD? I think it's important to understand some of the many reasons why APIE's work with AISD is so crucial. AISD is the 5th largest school district in Texas and serves approximately 86,000 students at 128 schools. As many of us know, Austin is a property-rich city that collects a great deal of tax revenue. However, by law, Austin ISD is required to redistribute a percentage of this money to property-poor school districts, despite the fact that 63% of AISD students come from low-income families. So to say the least, this situation really leaves AISD under-resourced. To compound the problem, AISD also deals with having a high student mobility rate. What this means for AISD is that 20% of its students have a different residence than they did a year ago. The redistribution of funds to other school districts, the high mobility rate are just some of the factors that really make it challenging to address the needs of the district's low-income population. And we believe that APIE programs help alleviate some of the effects of these challenges. On this slide, you can see the demographic breakdown of the AISD population. Again, you can see here 63% are economically disadvantaged. So to help these students, we provide direct student support programs to schools where 40% or more of the students enrolled come from low-income households. As you can also tell, 27% have a limited English proficiency, and about 60% of our students are Hispanic. So now you're probably wondering, how exactly does APIE help Austin ISD and its students? So APIE provides two levels of service. We have programs that provide overall campus support and programs that provide and deliver direct support to students. So let me quickly go over how APIE provides overall campus support, and then we'll move onto the direct service where it is that we really need community support. So one of the things we do is we help the district manage the screening of all their school-based volunteers. So for example, if a parent wants to help a teacher in the classroom or wants to help chaperone a school through a screening process, APIE is responsible for processing the background checks for all of AISD school-based volunteers. Last year, we ran about 5,000 background checks for the district. The second thing we do in overall campus support is post requests for resources made by individual schools. So for example, if a teacher or a school is in need of something like whiteboards or a set of books, you name it, they submit the request to us and we post it on our partner portal. Here, community members can go in and search requests and sign up to grant specific wishes. That's under our Grant a Wish program. So that's, in a nutshell, how we help campuses overall. So how do we help students directly? We offer 4 direct student support programs in the subject areas of reading and math. We have classroom coaching, Step Up, mentoring, and college readiness. I'll cover all the programs, but we'll focus mainly on classroom coaching because this is the program that has the highest need for community and volunteer support. We currently need 500 volunteers to help us fill all the classes that we support through classroom coaching. Classroom coaches are APIE volunteers that go into the classroom once a week for 45 minutes and tutor a small group of 3 to 4 students. Research tells us that 2nd, 6th, and 8th grade are critical grades in a student's education. So by intervening at these critical moments, we as a community can help prevent low-income students from falling behind and thereby enhancing their chances for academic confidence and success. In 2013-2014 school year, APIE served over 3,000 students through the classroom coaching program. At the elementary level, we offer classroom coaching in 2nd grade reading in both English and Spanish, and I'll touch on that a little bit in the next slide. At the middle school level, our focus is in 6th grade reading. At this point in their education, in 6th grade, they're making the transition from grade school to middle school, and many students have difficulties dealing with the various changes they're experiencing. Our classroom coaches help students through these difficult times by keeping them engaged in academics. We also offer classroom coaching in 8th grade, specifically in math, because it serves as a foundation for Algebra 1. The research indicates that students who pass Algebra 1 by 9th grade are more likely to graduate high school and succeed in college. So that's an overview of our classroom coaching program, and I'll go into more detail on that just a little bit later. I want to touch on Step Up. Step Up is also a program where we need volunteers. Step Up is a program targeted to students who need more time reviewing and practicing the materials they've learned in class. The time commitment for Step Up is 3 times a week for 45 minutes each session. As a Step Up volunteer, you do not have to take all 3 assignments. You can sign up for 1 assignment and split the assignment with 2 other volunteers, or we can take care of finding 2 other people that can job share the Step Up commitment. Step Up is offered in 6th grade reading and in 8th grade math. APIE also offers mentoring. Mentoring is a program where volunteers have more one-on-one time with the student. They get to know students on a The mentor meets with the student over lunch just to really talk about things that are going on in the student's life. You can talk about how things are going in school, what great things are happening, what not so great things are happening, that sort of thing. Our mentoring program is actually very popular because the volunteer is able to give the student more personalized attention. We currently have over 1,000 mentors in our program. And then finally, we have our College Readiness program. College Readiness is a tutoring program for students at risk of having to take developmental courses in college. Our tutors, known as College Readiness Advocates, offer academic advising and tutoring to students that are on track to graduate high school, but again, are at risk of not graduating college ready, and that's extremely important. At this time, our College Readiness program is not open to volunteers. The CR advocates, our College Readiness advocates that work with their students are paid APIE staff. However, starting in the year 15-16, we will be adding a component to the College Readiness program that will require the need for community volunteers. So this next slide highlights the research that supports our focus in 2nd grade reading. Low-income students typically start elementary school with a significantly lower vocabulary than students that don't come from low-income families. If they don't become moderately skilled readers by 3rd grade, they're 4 times more likely to drop out of high school. However, if we can help them build a strong foundation in 2nd grade, it increases their chances of reading at grade level by 3rd grade, which then makes them more likely to graduate high school on time. I also want to mention the importance of our 2nd grade Spanish reading program, Compañeros en Lectura. Again, the research shows that for English language learners, they have a higher chance of success in reading in the English language if we can help them learn to read in their native language first. And Compañeros en Lectura is a program that is also in desperate need of volunteers. We need about 40 to 50 Spanish-speaking volunteers to help us with those Spanish-speaking 2nd graders. So exactly how does classroom coaching work? So this gives us a little idea of a graphic on how it works. We place our volunteers in the classroom and we pair them with 2 to 3 students. Sometimes it is 4, but we try to keep it to 2 to 3. Once a week, our volunteers go into the classroom to help reinforce the material learned in the classroom. You have full teacher support. The teacher stays in the classroom the whole time. APIE also has a program manager or a program coordinator in the classroom with you as well. If there's ever a time when you feel that you need assistance, our coordinators are there to help you and answer questions. We find that this classroom coaching model benefits the students because they're in groups that students are in groups that have their same instructional level, and they're working with a dedicated volunteer. Some more details on our classroom coaching model. APIE provides all the training you need to get started. We provide materials. You will have all your materials prior to your first day in the classroom. APIE program managers put together a curriculum that coincides with the lessons being taught by the teacher. And activities to help you keep your group interested and engaged. APIE coordinators also will send you weekly reminders prior to the week's lessons. We make sure that you have all the information you need to make you feel secure and to ensure that you're going to be successful with your group of students. Every program between 2nd, 6th, and 8th works a little bit differently. For example, in 8th grade math, the lessons will be coming to you on a weekly basis. In the 2nd and 6th grade reading, you will have the entire curriculum given to you at training. but we have extremely dedicated coordinators that are constantly keeping you in the loop, are constantly in contact with you, giving you tips, making sure that you're aware of what's going on in the classroom on any particular given week. And so there is a strong relationship between the coordinator, the volunteers, and the teachers. So you may be wondering, why do we call our volunteers classroom coaches? We call them classroom coaches because we think it really encourages a collaborative spirit between the volunteer and the students. Most of our curriculum requires that students work together to some degree, and our classroom coaches have the task of leading them through those lessons. So you may be wondering at this time, how do we do? How effective is our program? Well, every year we conduct a program evaluation to measure the success of our programs. We're happy to report that our students give us rave reviews, and this is really a big deal when you're talking about the opinions of 6th and 8th graders. Our evaluation finds that students who go through our program tend to have lower behavioral issues. The results also show that all students that participate experienced an increase in academic self-confidence, especially the girls. So we really feel that this is a testimony to the quality of our program. Not only the students that enjoy working with APIE, principals and teachers also request our program. Teachers say their students are more focused and have more self-confidence. They also say that the students' interest in subjects increased and that students are more engaged in the classroom. And it really makes a huge difference to hear that from the teachers. Our volunteers also give us pretty good reviews. Volunteers feel that the training they receive prepares them for the program. They feel that the program is meaningful and that it's worth the time that they spend in the classroom to give back to the community. And they also feel that the materials used in our program are engaging and entertaining for the students. Here's a list of the schools that we serve. We offer our classroom coaching program at 11 elementary schools and 6 middle schools across the district. These are the schools where we have the highest need for volunteers, especially at the middle schools. So if you like the idea of becoming a classroom coach, I would ask that you consider 6th grade reading or 8th grade math. If you are a fluent Spanish speaker, I would also urge you to consider choosing Compañeros en Lectura, our Spanish version of the 2nd grade classroom coaching. We run our programs Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Every school has a different day. 5 minutes once a week, and we offer them at various times between 8 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. We even have some that are starting this year even earlier than 8 a.m., so it's a really good option for somebody that wants to drop in, help the students before going into work. We start in late September or early October, depending on the program, and we end in May for a total of 24 weeks. We know this is a huge time commitment, and this is why we also offer volunteer job sharing. You can choose a volunteer opportunity with one of your coworkers and share the 24-week commitment. However you wish to work out the details is up to you, but we do ask that for the first few weeks you both meet with your students and work with the students so that students are comfortable with both people. So if you truly are interested in becoming a volunteer with APIE, here are just a few things to consider. We do expect our volunteers to arrive on time to their session, to follow the lesson plans and curriculums, to spend some time reading the weekly emails from the program coordinators, because it does contain a lot of valuable information. It provides information on whether or not if sessions are canceled for some reason or another. There's always something going on at schools that is important for our volunteers to know about. that you communicate questions, concerns, and good experiences with your coordinator, and that you spend a little bit of time after the session, 5 to 10 minutes, debriefing on how things went on that particular day. So ways that you can volunteer, again, you can volunteer on an individual basis and meet others, other like-minded community members, or again, if the time commitment is too much, you can job share with coworkers to help promote team building across your organization. And if you have more questions about that, we can talk about that during the Q&A. So what if volunteering with classroom coaching is not an option for you? There are other ways that you can get involved. Mentoring, the mentoring program is always open. We actually have a mentoring program across all 128 schools. We are limited to the schools with classroom coaching, but any school will take a person that is interested in mentoring. You can grant a wish. You can grant a school wish through our partner portal, and you can go and look to see what schools, what materials and resources schools have been requesting through our partner portal. You can become a campus partner, and we can get you in touch with our School Connections coordinator that can help set that up. Some businesses choose to take on an entire school in different ways, either by donating resources or donating time. Or you can make a donation to Austin Partners in Education. Any donation of any size is always welcomed. So if you are interested in becoming a volunteer, we encourage you to sign up today. We have enjoyed an incredible ride over the past 10 years, and we're looking forward to our next 10. Right now, like I mentioned, our need is in the classroom coaching program. It's greater, our need is greater than ever. So that's why we are asking, please give of their time to Austin Partners and to AISD students. So the first step would be to go to our website, austinpartners.org, click on the blue volunteer button, and then click on sign up now. You do have to go through a background check. Then the third step would be to then register to become a classroom coach. You'll select your school, day and time, and then you'll wait for a welcome email from us that will then prompt you to sign up for training. At this time, we'll go ahead and open it up for any questions.
Thanks, Veronica. We've had several questions come in. So, and if you have any other questions that haven't been asked yet, please feel free to put them either in the question box or the chat box, and we'll do our best to answer as many questions as we can. First question is, can we still volunteer even though we might not be available for the entire 24 weeks?
Yes, we typically do experience turnover in the spring semester, and we have ongoing recruitment efforts throughout the year. So if you are able to do it now, we would highly encourage you to still sign up, and we can work out the details on who would then take your spot when you're not available in the spring. Or if you're only available in the spring, we will have openings at that time as well.
The second question we've had submitted a few different ways, but what do the trainings look like?
The trainings are conducted by the program coordinators and the program managers. They are the ones that are responsible for developing our curriculum. They typically last 2 hours. We focus a lot on what the student is experienced at that point in time in their education, so that you can have some tools and resources to manage the interaction with your students. And then we spend another hour really digging deep into the curriculum. There is opportunity to sort of role play and practice how the sessions would unfold. And then again, there is also a mid-year trainings as a refresher. If there's anything that changes, we do provide that additional training. And again, also the weekly emails are chock full of tools and tips that you can use in the classroom with your students.
Thanks. Another question that was just submitted is, what is the weekly time commitment?
The sessions are 45 minutes, but you do have to take into consideration drive time. And then we do ask that you arrive at least 5 to 10 minutes before the class actually starts to meet with the other volunteers in your classroom and the coordinator. And then we also ask that you try to stay afterwards for a quick debrief anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes. So it really just depends on the drive time. We typically tell people try to budget an hour to an hour and 20 minutes.
Another question is, you mentioned the daily curriculum is provided. How is that provided?
In second grade and in sixth grade, you will get like a full curriculum during your training. In eighth grade, we've gone through some changes because the state curriculum has changed, so we've had to revamp all summer long. The eighth grade curriculum comes to you via email, and I believe also the coordinators will provide that to you before class. And so if you're they will have extra copies for you the day of the session.
Okay, great. Thank you. I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. As you know, we have a big mountain to climb and need 500 volunteers. So we hope you'll join Austin Partners in Education to support local students. To sign up, and you can see this on your screen now, you can visit austinpartners.org, or if you have any additional questions, you can reach Veronica at 512-637-0982. We have recorded today's webinar, so we have received some questions about people that would like to see a replay. Later today or early tomorrow, you'll receive a link, so you'll be able to watch it at your convenience or share it with coworkers or friends. But thank you again for attending, and we hope you'll support us and join us in supporting local students in Austin.
Thank you.